So our next guest speaker on for this evening is Noel Wiley, who is the foreman from Glenn Wood Tullamore, and we're going to be speaking about the new carpentry apprenticeships you're offering. So, Noel, I'll start off by asking you, what inspired you to become a carpenter?
Well, it's not that really I was inspired at the time. It's a long time ago now, but what happened was, back in the day, it's not like you have all these opportunities now in the day. Back then I was told by my mother,
right,
at 12 years of age, it's time now you have to get out and earn your keep.
At 12 years of age?
At 12, yes. So at that stage, I was always interested in carpentry anyway. Before that, even at 12, we had a local business, Artistic Signs.
Brilliant.
And at 12 years of age, I used to make all the sign framing and all that for them. At that, so I was all interested.
So you were roped into it.
Yeah, I roped into it. And it all came from a neighbour, an old man called Dick Quinn, and he bought me my first hammer.
Wow.
Because I used to go out to him all the time. He used to be next door. So from there, I started baiting in nails and getting interested in. And as I say, our local business up the road was a friend of ours, and I used to go up on a Saturday and give them a hand. And he asked me, would you be able to make the frame? So I said, yeah, no problem. So
give it a go.
I started making frames for him.
Wow.
And then, so when I had to go out and work, I went looking for a job one day at 12, and we went down to another local in Raharney there, used to make coffins.
Okay.
So I started at the dead end and kept going from there.
So that's how you got into the trade?
That's how I got into the trade.
Wow.
So I was making coffins. And then, of course, went from there then into a joinery, started making doors and frames and all of that. And that person then closed the doors, and I went on to another joinery after that.
Right.
So, we went from there on. I was working at that joinery for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And as it turned out then, myself and herself, my better half, we were trying to buy a house, and I ended up going into the Defence Forces because I couldn't get a mortgage, even though I was earning more as a carpenter than I was in the army, but because it's a state job, I was able to borrow money then. So that's where it all started. But and from there on, of course, the boom came, but in the meantime, I still had a business on the side doing kitchens and all that as well.
Okay, so you never lost the carpentry side of things?
Oh no, I never lost it. I had a couple of guys working for me full time. So then I left the army and set up a company then myself.
So it continuously evolved from the age of 12?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so then I went on then to fitting joinery for Glenn Wood Tullamore.
Yeah.
Fitting banks and all sorts of bars and all of that. So it went from there with them. For 25 years I've been fitting for them, as well as had my own building company.
Okay.
And I had a lot of apprentices through my hands as well.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the basic.
So that's how you got into the trade.
That's how I got into the trade.
And Noel, what are the most important skills or qualities do you think that someone needs to succeed in carpentry?
I think the biggest skill that's required is the skill of patience.
Right.
It's nothing really to do with the carpentry end of it.
Okay.
But patience and having the ability to listen. And I think regardless of what employment you're in or what career you decide to go into, listening to other experienced people is the biggest one.
Yes.
People say, you can say, I have plenty of notes here to say you need trigonometry and you need all these sorts of mathematical skills and that.
Yeah.
But the biggest one is listening. The ability to listen and not be arrogant.
100%. And I think that kind of goes for nearly any occupation.
Any occupation.
Yeah.
I've been through woes, ups and downs, and the ability to get up and try and go again.
But that's a big thing to do, is to learn from, I suppose, other people's first-hand experience.
Yes.
As you're saying, listen to it, take on their experience, and use that to fuel your own ambition in the job.
Yes.
And Noel, can you describe a typical day on the job for any...
As a carpenter?
As a carpenter, for anyone here who's looking to get into the trade.
Well, there's lots of different aspects of carpentry. And as it happens, I can do them all. And that's from down the years, listening and learning. And the way I learned my trade was through building and that. So I learned how to do absolutely everything, regardless of whether it was carpentry.
Yeah.
So block laying, plaster, and electrical. And as a result of knowing all this information and picking up any of this information as I went along in my career, as a result now I'm a projects coordinator manager with Glenn Wood. And the reason why I do that is because we have a building company as well, which I run. And so we do fit outs from A to Z. So, and that came from learning all the things as you go along. So if you become a roofer, for instance, it's not a cross to bear to learn a little bit more about what the electrician is doing and about what the plumber is doing. And that, so as a result of that, I know I run and coordinate the business.
Yeah.
So I know when I need and when I require all these different people and at what stages. And it's usually 99% of the time, if you go into any building company and you have foremen, well, they usually start off as carpenters because they usually have the ability to learn and watch other people what they're doing.
Yes.
And they don't be arrogant to say, oh, our trade is the be all and end all.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's not. It is a great trade. Now, if you just want to do carpentry exactly and nothing else, well then joinery might be the thing for you.
Okay.
So joinery, like we have a joinery as well. So joinery now has changed down the years. It used to be you make doors and frames and windows and all that things, tables and chairs and all of that, where now it's not. We have a bespoke joinery, so we work with every metal and every material known to man.
Right.
Yeah, so when we were building counters for, at the minute there, it's, this is a taboo now, but the Children's Hospital.
Oh. We won't mention it. Go on.
We're fitting out the Children's Hospital. So in the Children's Hospital, there is an awful lot of different materials, and I hope none of you ever have to go to the Children's Hospital because it's a place you don't want to be. But if you do, you'll see all the different aspects of counters and that, and which have a lot of LED lighting and all this, and it's trickery to cheer up the children and that.
Of course.
So, so you build in a lot of LED sequences and into the counters and, all different materials.
So as you're saying, there's a lot more that goes into it than just the joinery side of things. There's electrical stuff and there's loads of different parts to the puzzle.
Yes, we have electrical and then we have different solid surfaces because in the Children's Hospital there's no square, nothing is square, everything is round.
Right.
Because the building is an oval shape, like a football.
So they've brought that into the
inside
as well.
All the furniture has to be built bespoke.
Okay.
So, and it's all round, so there's no sharp edges or anything like this.
Right.
So then you learn the health and safety aspect of it.
Okay.
So there's all different health and safety aspects of it. And as well as that, I do mainly credit unions and that.
Yes.
And there's health and safety aspects of that, building regulations and that. Like when you build a counter, it has to be a certain height and you have to have footstools so people don't get deep vein thrombosis and all of this from sitting long periods of time. And there's a scientific and technical side to it as well.
As much as it is a skill side to it.
It's very interesting. So anything you learn along the way, as we were back to again, listen.
Yeah, 100%. It all comes back to it, doesn't it?
It all comes back to it.
And Noel, I know you've mentioned some of them there, but are there any other kind of projects that you'd be facing on a day-to-day basis for any carpentry experts out there? Like, there's so many different sides to it.
Yeah, there's so many different sides to it. So I'm talking now about the joinery end of it and the new technology end of it. Then you have the more simpler end of it, if you like.
Okay.
Like you have shuttering carpentry, which they wouldn't like to hear you saying it's the simple end of it, but that's where you make forms and for concrete forming and all of that. And that's, some people like that because you're out in the fresh air all the time, and it doesn't have to be as accurate. So you don't need as much of the mathematics or any of that.
Okay.
And then, so then you have first fixing carpentry, which is, you know, when you go into a house and you put in the joists and then roof and carpentry, you have roofing as well. That's all external. And that is hard. It's physical and hard, but there's all physical sides to it.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's loads of girls now, carpenters I've met, lots of girls,
100%,
carpenters that come
and
up
it's great to see.
through Sisk Joinery over above in the Long Mile Road.
Yeah.
Sisk Joineries bring up a lot of girls, but 90% of the Sisk Joinery carpenters end up, they go on and go to college and to do management.
Okay.
And so they're contracts managers and all of that thing.
Right.
Yeah, but when you're roofing, then you learn how to roof and the carpentry, and then there's tiling and slating and all that, which is an extra activity that you can learn to do. And then you have the second fix, as I said, skirting, architraves, hanging doors, locking doors, all of that aspect of it.
Okay.
So if you're an outdoorsy type of person, the joinery wouldn't be for you. It'd be the building site.
Okay.
As well as that, the building site, you have more crack on the building site, you know. But as I say, with the health and safety today, there's a lot more health and safety on the big sites.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're doing working with a local builder or that, it can be more interesting and a bit more crack and a less lenient 100%. On the health and safety. I'm not saying that the health and safety is not required.
I know.
I'm the health and safety officer up here as well. So I have to keep emphasising that as well.
Yeah.
So.
And Noel, what advice would you give to someone who wants to do an apprenticeship, who wants to get into the industry of carpentry?
What advice would I give them? Well, the first one I would say is don't listen to anyone else.
Don't listen to anyone else?
No.
Right.
Don't listen to Auntie Mary saying you should be going to college to do a degree.
Okay.
You should become a doctor or a priest or a scientist or whatever.
Yeah.
Because if you become a carpenter, you'll become a scientist and you become all of these other things without you knowing. So, you know, and one of my big things is now I have my office, I have on the door, the boys jokingly have on it, I'm called NATO. So I solve all the problems, and anybody comes up with me that has an issue or personal problems, anything, they come to me. So you learn to listen, and by listening you learn what people's problems become. And in the society we're living in now, suicide and all that type of thing is very imminent. So you learn to read people.
Yeah, and it's very important.
You learn to read people, and that means that you can give advice, and you can see that there's something wrong with your friend or your neighbour or your whatever's next door.
Yeah.
And a simple little bit of advice can solve a lot of problems.
100%. It's important, as you're saying, to listen to them, and then they'll trust in you as well. And it makes the whole company run smoother, I can imagine.
Yes.
Noel, I want to finally ask you, how do you see the carpentry trade evolving in the future with new tools, technologies, materials? What do you make of it?
Well, we have a lot of new, in Glenn Wood, we have a lot of new technology, CNC routers and edge banders and everything automated. And you know, CAD drawings and AutoCAD and all of this. And it's brilliant.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. It's brilliant in the economy that wants to grow and grow and grow and grow.
Yes.
And that's fine. You know, brilliant to learn it all. But I think you should be getting back to basics. Learn what a handsaw is.
Yeah.
A chisel, a hammer, you know, a bit and brace, even though you won't be using them now. But it's no harm to know what they are and how to use them. And don't be always relying on technology.
Yeah.
Because technology makes things faster and that. And sometimes, I shouldn't be saying this, but it generates greed. So we want to make more and more and more.
Yeah.
So now, like it take a week to make a table, we can make 1,000 tables in a week now.
Yeah.
But you know, the technology is good, but if you want to get into it, you learn a bit of CAD and that, and then you come to us and you do apprenticeship with us, and then you have lots of other apprenticeships.
Yeah.
That, you know, and lots of people come from other places into us for experience and summer experience and that.
Brilliant.
You know, so that's what I think.
That's what's on offer. And does anyone here want to ask Noel a question while we have him up on stage? Noel, if anyone wants to follow up with you and ask you any questions,
not a problem.
How can they get in contact?
Well, you get in contact with me from in Glenn Wood and Tullamore. If you look it up anywhere, Glenn Wood, the number is anywhere you like, and you can look to talk to me at any time.
Brilliant. Noel, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Can we give Noel a round of applause?
Thanks very much.
Thanks a million, Noel.
No problem.
So our next speaker is going to be Siobhan Bryan, who is the CEO of the Marisa Foundation, and that will be around 1 p.m.